Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So hopefully you can you hear us? Okay, great. Yeah, now we're online, guys. And yeah, hello to our viewers. Hello, everybody, and please write something in the chat if you can hear us good, so we can understand that you can hear us. And yeah. So folks, my name is Roman Belov. I'm a founder and CEO at KeenTools, and today we have our 11th educational stream, and today is about FaceBuilder and MetaHuman. And first, let me to introduce our guest, and it's Manuel Rondon. Hi, Manuel. And
Hello, everybody.
Manuel is a 3D artist and author behind Mr. 3D channel, and it has quite a lot of subscribers. So yeah, please consider to subscribe as well. He actually created tutorials. He creates tutorials about Unreal Engine, MetaHuman, Blender, etc. And recently he created a tutorial about FaceBuilder and MetaHuman combo as well. And I think that he actually probably have a lot of questions about what we, how it's all supposed to work together. And yeah. And our main speaker today, Anton, he's our researcher and developer, and he was responsible for the feature about pairing FaceBuilder and MetaHuman, and most of the facial research behind it. And
hello, everybody.
Basically, that's it. Hi, Anton. And I'm gonna be a facilitator. So I will read your questions. So please ask them in chat here in YouTube. And Anthony, could you switch to the next slide, please?
Yes, of course.
And awesome. And actually, we have a Discord channel. The link is gonna be now in the chat, and it's also available in description. And in this Discord channel, you can ask any questions anytime. So basically, that's it about questions. And let's go further. And it's not the first stream. We have already quite a few about almost all features and aspects of all our tools. And it's like 10th or 11th stream. It's actually 11th one. And you can find all the recordings on our YouTube channel. And if you don't want to miss the next stream or any new educational materials, please click the ring bell icon to subscribe, or subscribe button if you see it, or something like this. And yeah, then probably let's go to the topic. And today we're going to talk about our last release, and it's release namely 2022.2. So it's the second release of this year. And let's first take a look at the demo. It's a short video with the main features behind in this release. And
I think it's
since it doesn't
freezing right now. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So generally, like there are two main features that we're going to discuss today. It's no one time is definitely enough, and one of the features is localized deformations. We even have a comment in chat from Vedex. Localized deformations would be nice for Blender. Actually, yes, it's available in Blender and Nuke already, and so it like significantly improved the quality of and likeness of models produced by FaceBuilder. Because if you used like previous versions, there was a problem that sometimes if you want to make like small details and so on, when you drag, for example, like pins near the mouse, it could lead to breaking changes near the ear or near the eye or something like this. And it's like really, it was really complicated. So now we have much more flexible model. And this flexibility is like, it's not only flexible, it's like also localized, but in a very clever way. And so you still have the same experience in terms of you just have to drag pins, but more pins you add, the better quality you can get, which is pretty, I'd say, interesting and great result, and with a really tough mathematics behind it. And the other feature is basically exporting to MetaHumans, which Anthony will show in all small details. So the last but not least thing, it's educational stuff, and probably you like expect from us that we will explain everything in the details, and we will do. But more questions you have, so especially it's for you, our lovely viewers, but also Manuel, please ask all the questions. So we really want a discussion. So Anthony, the stage is yours. Let's start.
Yes, thank you, Roman. Yeah, as you've already said, today we're gonna learn how to transfer a real person from just a few photos to Unreal Engine using FaceBuilder. So, first thing to do.
Oh, let me first, because I really interesting, like what was the first impression of Manuel about it, like because he already tried, and like
Yeah.
what was the experience, some general feelings.
Yeah, for this, well, first I just saw you on a tweet. So I just saw this tool that was transferring the whole face of a human into MetaHuman, which to me was pretty good. But not gonna lie, what caught my eye from this tool was the texturing portion. We already talked about it, but let me share it for your viewers. Is what I like the most about KeenTools is the fact that you can actually transfer the texture that you capture from the photos into the MetaHumans, because sometimes it's difficult. What makes things realistic as a 3D artist, when you are creating a likeness, the most important things are the smaller details. So the texture allows me to transfer all those imperfections that a real person has into a MetaHuman. That's actually what caught my eye. After that, I was just looking through some tutorials. Some of them were a little bit old, but like I said, I already have experience with Blender, MetaHumans, and all that. So I tried to gather bits and pieces here and there, and made my first human. Actually, did it 3 times before I make the tutorial to make sure that I nail all the steps. And must say, it was pretty easy. It was very straightforward. And like I said, the thing that I love the most is the texturing part, and you can carry it over with the UVs. You don't have to like re-UV your mesh. This is a great mesh that you're providing to us to work with, and the UVs are one-to-one with the MetaHuman texture. So all in all, it was pretty easy to pick up, and like I said, very straightforward.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so
Thank
probably
you,
we
Manuel.
don't. It basically means that we don't need this tutorial. Everything is straight.
Yeah. But actually, I think we have one. I think a few tricky ideas that probably we try to figure
Yeah.
out today. So
So if you don't mind interjecting here, I don't know if this is before you start or not, but one of the biggest things that took me a while to figure out was what kind of photo do I need to get the best scan possible.
Really great question, I'd say.
yeah,
So let's start.
yeah.
And let's start with the
Let's
photos.
start. I believe we can start from here. So thank you guys to all the introduction. And now we can start from opening Blender. I've already done it, and actually we should be sure that we've already installed FaceBuilder. Everything is alright, it's here. If you want to know how to do it, you can find all of the information from our site, for example, or from our previous streams. But for now, we have FaceBuilder, and we added FaceBuilder head to our scene. It's the average head. We have this mesh, with all of these vertices and faces, but it is like average person. And what we want to do is to construct mesh from images of real person. So firstly, we need to add these images. Okay, I can find it here, I believe. Yeah, right. I can find it here. It's Kira, our friend, and we have pictures. Here it's 7 pictures, and actually I would recommend you to use at least 5 pictures with front view, 3/4, another 3/4. Of course, we need profile, another profile, and I think that 5 photos is a minimum to get a good result. But actually, you can add photos from another views, for example, from the bottom, or this kind of pictures, and they could add another details. They could add another information to our model, of course.
So
Yeah.
Manuel, answering your question, what pictures are good for FaceBuilder?
Yeah.
So good if you have like different angles of view, first of all. And also it's great if you know camera settings and parameters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Actually,
It's true. And actually,
go
I would recommend
ahead.
you. Sorry, Roman. I would recommend you to set up your camera firstly. If you know the parameters of your camera, so focal length, you should set
Okay.
up it here. So, for example,
Alright.
for these shots, I know that focal length was 75 millimeters for full frame sensor size. So I just manually add it here. Actually, I have the same number for all of these photos, so I should.
It's interesting because this part I didn't do.
Yeah, but actually, you.
Yeah, it's pretty important. So it's pretty important to get the best result. You have to provide the most information about, like, the more information you provide, the better result you have. But the very important thing that you actually, for instance, you want to like create a digital double for some actor, like famous actor, that you actually can't scan or can't photo and so on. You can just download his photos of different sizes from different cameras from the internet. And you can do it with FaceBuilder. They all different, but you can use this tick like focal length estimation, and it will estimate camera for every photo. And what is more important, it can even estimate facial expression. There is a small tick here, allow facial expressions, like near the exit pin button.
I see. So that's what's that is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like really helps in the case, because usually if you like find some random photos from the wild and you see usually they are not a neutral expression. There's some like smile or something, so it will really help in that case. And like you still can get the identity, which is pretty nice for like reconstructing people you can't photo.
Yeah, right. And
Interesting.
of course, if you have an ability to control the process of filming the actor, you should figure out what the actual focal length was through this session. So if you know it, of course, we can sculpt our face even more realistic than in case where you should estimate focal length.
Is there a particular setting that you would recommend for people to get the best results?
I think I would recommend, of course, try to set up homogeneous light. I think it's one of the most important thing. Of course, the person should be in neutral, because if we want to allow facial expressions here, it could be handy. You can estimate the actual facial expression of the person, but the result could be little more. I think a little worse than the result without allowing facial expressions. So yeah, of course,
like it will be a little bit inaccurate, and of course, if like there is no double estimation, like estimation of identity and facial expression, that the result will be better and the quality will not suffer.
Yeah, right. So the best practice here, I think, to have an actor in neutral expression with homogeneous light, more or less, and you should capture it from different angles, like in this example. Yeah. As I said before, 5 pictures could be enough, but if you want to do more realistic result, to have more realistic result, you can capture more photos. So yeah, okay. And to start, firstly, we should click Align Face button. Align Face button, and actually it tries to feed the mesh to our image. Yeah, and you can see that all the main features of our face was aligned pretty well, but we still need a little bit work to do to fix some region. Face mesh is moving, and in the same time it is morphing. So I would say that you can think about these pins as a springs that connected to the surface of your mesh, and when you try to drag it, try to move the mesh with some strength, and this strength is bigger than you have long blue lines that we can call residuals. And actually, you should try to be careful with these lines, and if they are too big, it could be a problem in the whole process. So I would recommend, in the first step, try to drag these pins carefully and just align the position of our head relative to the camera, and try to estimate the roughly the shape of our head. So in the first step,
Manuel,
Yeah.
do you understand why actually we have these residuals? So why actually the form doesn't change like completely? So I mean, like if you drag a point, it's still like trying to, there's like Anthony said, there's a spring. So
Yeah.
something is also pulling it back. And do you understand why? Like, I
Is it
just
because of the
wonder.
other pins?
It's not on the big, like you like definitely can, like, for example, let's say it's not FaceBuilder, but some other like instrument, and you drag one pin, and it's like soft modeling or something like this. You can easily drag it without any residuals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why there is a residual?
Can you tell us why?
Yeah, that's basically the main idea behind FaceBuilder. It's because it has some constraints, some rigidity based on actually knowledge of how human face could look like. For example, it's impossible that one eye is big, really big, and the other one is small, or something like this. Or, for example, like you can't have too big nose or too big ears, and so on. There's also there's like always some limits, and that's why you have this residual and so on. So it's like pretty important to understand why we have it. So,
Interesting, because if it was a regular sculpting program, it would just pull that pin to however long I would want, and that's why it has a restriction.
And that's why we have these restrictions. But if everything goes correctly, then most of the residuals should be pretty small, like here.
Yeah, it's true. And even more, we have something like statistical model behind the FaceBuilder. So, of course, you shouldn't have a lot of pins to figure out the basic shape of your head, because it's kind of statistical model that could guide us to figure out how the cheek, for example, should be looking when we have this kind of jaw, for example. Yeah. So this is why we don't have a lot of pins, at least in the first step of our process. So I've already made this first view. I think it's pretty well, and we can move on to the next. Align face. Once again we have some work to do to correct this one.
Have a theme because Manuel asked a question before you went offline. So how this align button works? And yeah, it's a neural network behind it. So it's like some sort of AI. But as any AI approach, it can't, like, it does only 90% of job for you.
Yes.
And the rest, 90%, you have to do yourself. And basically, it's pretty straightforward approach. Like you click this button, you get almost right result, and then you fix all the small details like neck, because usually landmarks on neural networks can't fit the neck or ears perfectly. Then you fix it. Especially it's important in case where, for example, you don't know where is the actual, for example, jaw is located because of beard, and you have like guess it, and usually you can guess it better than neural network, and because you can see like small details between hair and so on. So basically that's it. But what is important, like we have like several angles of view. So when you click this button on the first angle of view, it changed the general mesh a little bit, like to fit the actual angle. And then you go to the next angle of view. And on the next angle of view, when you click align face, it already knows the result of the first, the result from the first frame.
Okay.
So it basically plays not the general mesh, but already the mesh that was already deformed to fit the first angle of view. That's why it's like now when we drag pins, we actually solve it both on the first frame and on the second one. And it basically means that it can change a little bit results on the first frame as well, because we still have one mesh for both frames. And when we add some more angles of view, it will like only makes the solution even harder, because it now solves on like 3 different angles and so on and so on. But at the same time, it gives us the quality we actually want to have, because it like simultaneous solution from different angles.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Roman. For now, I've already.
There's also a question. There is also a question from our chat, and why is the ear mesh lighter? I'm a little bit confused what's been lighter, but we have like different parts of mesh are colored with different colors. So basically we have several, we have primary color for the mesh itself. Anthony, could you please open the like appearance tab?
Yeah, I can do it. Here we go.
Yeah, so
appearance tab.
yeah, and here we have like color for the mesh, and we can change the secondary color. Could you please change it probably on something not that blue, because blue in contrast to white now looks a little bit lighter. So you can like change it to anything. Like if you change it to white, it will be basically the same color. So
Yeah,
it's just because of the different contrast of and so on.
Yes.
So it's not lighter, it just looks lighter.
Yeah, it just looks lighter, it just looks different, and you can notice that I've already changed the appearance of our model a little bit. So for default we have gray color here for the primary color of our mesh, but I've changed it to the green because we have a little bit dark environment here. So hair is dark around it, and if I have this light wireframe, I can recognize the position of it relative to the contour of our images. So Yeah, I think I could recommend to use this option to set up the wireframe appearance if you want to get a good result. So for now, I already have four, yeah, here I think four angles, or four angles of view, and I think that it's kind of rough estimation of our shape, and that's even more important that we have rough estimation of head position relative to camera. So in all of these images, our face is located somewhere in the region of real face in the image. So the head has proper orientation and proper position, and it is really essential thing that we should be careful about, because when we start to create details of our mesh, it should be a problem if we didn't set up properly the position of our head. So it's one of the most important things that we should do in the first iteration of sculpting our face. So actually I think that everything is alright. We have our head in the proper position. Probably I should fix lips a little bit, but I think I will do it later. Yeah, and you can see that all of the pins right now don't have long residuals. So it's kind of a little bit long here, but actually it's because I want to morph my nose exactly like this. So this residual is affect actually the shape of our nose. So it could be okay for this reason. Nice. And we have other two examples. Pictures from the bottom. Actually, this picture could be useful because we can find out how our jaw is actually looks like. So for example, this little silhouette, we can fit it properly because of this angle of view, because actually we can't see it from the front picture, for example, but here we can deform our mesh properly.
I see that there were some big changes from this particular angle. Will that be affecting the other frames that you just made?
Yes, of course, it will affect other viewpoints, and actually we should go to the previous pictures and we should find out if something changed. Yeah, something changed, but not so much. So you can see that actually the face is the face has already a good appearance here. We can see that.
Yeah. So
that mesh, yeah.
basically, it means that on other views, for example, you have frontal view, and yeah, everything looks okay. Now you go to profile view and change a lot, but then you go to frontal view and see that nothing has been changed. It basically that's why, because you have like some you don't know the depths. You like can't estimate it. You looking only on front view.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's why you're like adding more information without actual changing the previous views. So basically, that's exactly what we had here. And yes, this bottom view, it doesn't look nice in terms of like, it's pretty strange view, but it really gives quite a lot of information.
Yeah, and actually, when we finished all of the views, and we have draft of our 3D model, we can watch on it. I believe without texture. Yeah, and we can see that it's pretty well. It's kind of I think it looks like this character, but still we can change something. For example, the shape of our head probably should be something like this, and probably we need I think I have this strange pin here. Probably we need change the shape of our jaw. I'm not sure, but yeah, a little bit we can change it. Fix here. So for now we can estimate the details of our face. For example, we can morph lips. Yeah, you can see that that I can drag this pin to morph these lips into looks more realistic here, closer to our image. And actually, when I added these pins and morph our lips, you could notice that the last part of our mesh don't deform. Yeah, you can see that actually the area of this pin deforms, and the last part of our head remains still. And this is the main idea of local deformation model. So when we've already estimated the right shape of the rough shape of our person, we can adjust the details without changing whole shape of our person. And it's really nice to do, because you can change almost everything, and even if your person have some for example have some curved shape of nose, it's not a problem. We can add more pins here, and we can estimate the proper shape of the nose. Yeah, you can see that could be done. And even more, we can estimate, for example, eyelashes shape. Yeah, you can see that that I can drag this pin and morph skin on the bottom of our eye, so it's matches perfectly. our face. We can deform our neck too, but actually you should be careful about it, because the neck don't have any visual features. Yeah, so you just can adjust it using the information of the contours of our neck. So I would recommend to adjust neck if you really need to do it in the last part of your work. So where everything is good enough, you can just turn back to the neck and adjust it too. Probably we can adjust a little bit our head shape, but I think that it's good enough. Yeah, I think it's good enough. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
We
it's
have
as close as it's gonna get.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'd say it's like pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah, I think so
Probably
too.
we can. Is it possible to change the form of nose, like all of the holes,
I would try to
or it's
do it.
like
I
I just wonder, like
it's really hard to do, but actually we can change it if we add more pins here. So, for example, remember I said that the longer the blue line on our pin, the more strength this pin have in deformation model. Yeah. So if you add more pins, it's true too. If you have a lot of pins in one area, and they operate in similar manner, so it affects with more strength. Yeah, but I think that 2 or 3 pins is enough to morph this area, and we have something like these holes. The shape, I think, is pretty similar right now. So what we want to do? Oh, I think I have wrong pin here. Yeah. If you notice that I have this long residual on this pin, and actually it was wrong pin that I accidentally add here. So when you try to figure out if everything is okay, you could try to think about pins with long residuals, and sometimes it could be the reason of fail in your
Manuel,
process.
have you any like issues with pinning? Like, have you problem like fitting some particular
Well, actually,
parts or
one of the
something?
things that he mentioned when it comes to the pinning, and one of the problems that I had for the most part was on the neck, that I felt that when I was adding pins to underneath the jaw, like if I move the neck too much, then it starts pulling down the jaw. And same thing, like if I put, when you're in the profile view, like if I put a pin in the back, it will start pulling like the scalp of the head
Yeah,
back. So I kind of like stay away from that because it was moving too much.
yeah, it's true. It's true. So actually, if you want to locally deform your neck, you should fix all the part of your head. So, for example, if I want to fix my scalp, I just add pins here. And for now, you can see
Okay.
that only neck would deform. So it's kind of best practice to deform locally parts of the head that you want to deform locally, that you want to deform only in the place where you have the pins. Yeah. So
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
So yeah, as I said before, of course, neck is a tough part. Pinning neck is a tough part, and you should be careful about it, and you should deform it only when all of the details, all of the all of the shape that you already had is is pretty decent for you. So I think that's why that's why I can deform neck without any problems right now.
Okay.
We have a
So
question. It's not a question, actually. It's like a comment from Alex that he says that if you know Puppet wrap in Photoshop, easy to move pins and add pins, same idea. And actually, yes, it's basically the idea is pretty similar. The difference is that, like in Puppet tool in Photoshop, it has completely different internal deformation model, like how it all deforms when you move the pins. It tries to preserve the volume of the or square if it's flat, and it's called as rigid as possible shape deformation. And in our case, we have like statistically based deformation model that knows how actually human face could look like, and it's based on thousands of different faces of real people, and that's why. But yeah, generally the idea is pretty similar.
yeah, right. So I think that for now we have pretty decent results. So the model is created. Probably we can fix it a little bit better, some regions. But yeah, I think that we can use it in our work. And the next step to do is creating texture. We can click create texture button. We can select images and click OK button. It took some time. Yes.
Okay, this is kind of like an odd question for this part, but what if you use different pictures for model and different pictures for texture? Is that possible, or is that not gonna work?
Yeah, of course it's possible, and probably I can show you why right now. Yeah, I can show you right now. You can see that some part of our head has different light, I think. For example, left part, right part, of this head. And I'm pretty sure that it is because of our photos. So probably one or more photos have different light conditions. Yeah, really. I think you can see that photo on number 5 have different condition, different lighting condition. And I think that we can exclude it from our process of creating texture, of creation texture. Probably 4 too, because it was profile view from other angle, and we can see what the result will be. Just clicked on OK. It will take some time. So the answer is, if you have all the pictures with homogeneous texture, with homogeneous light, it's all right to use all of them. But sometimes you can exclude
that looks
some
better.
pictures, and now it looks better. Yeah. So I think we can stop here. We have this model with texture, and we can export it. And we can do it, just click on the button Export Texture, export texture, and I think it will be somewhere here. Yeah, and export as FBX. You can find button Export as FBX on blend shapes tab. If you don't have any blend shapes, it's just export our mesh. So Kira, selected object. We don't need to set up everything here, anything here. So just export it, and that's all. We have our model FBX and texture map, and we can move to the Unreal Engine. I've already had a project here where we will try to wrap our mesh using mesh to MetaHuman. And you of course you familiar with this process. I don't think that I can guide you here, but what do you think about this mesh to MetaHuman?
I think the mesh it's pretty great, and usually when it comes to mesh to MetaHuman, for the most part, you just need the mesh, not so much the texture. So you worry about the big landmarks, like in this case of this character. It's, you know, long neck, very like slim face, prominent cheeks. So I think that mesh captures everything that we need for mesh to MetaHumans. Of course, if we have the texture, it helps it even more, recognizing where the eyes are, where the eyebrows, and all of that. So again, that's one of the great parts of this tools, is you can bring everything in one place. And one of the things that I did is when I exported out of Blender, I didn't use the export function in there, because in Blender you can select your FBX to export it out with the texture. So it's just one file that brings in the texture for you.
Yeah, right. Right.
By the way, speaking about texture and the question Manuel already asked, but yeah, it's like very important thing, because we have a question in chat. In general, it's like using different pictures and different images for texturing, like not for deforming, but only for texturing. And it's possible, but you have to somehow align the face to the picture, because if you know the alignment, then you can do it. Otherwise, like you can't guess what part of picture used for texturing and so on. So it's like basically that's the idea. You can align without actually changing the face. You can like say that we like just, you can like click several pins, like 2 or 3, to just place the model, but not change anything in terms of like its form. Okay, let's return to mesh to MetaHuman. I just want to say here that when we like first look at this plugin, we literally said, wow, it seems FaceBuilder is like completely complementary plugin to it, because it's not that easy to get a perfect scan. And it's interesting thing then when you scan the person, especially with a huge photogrammetry rig and so on, you get lots of small details, but then you go to mesh to MetaHuman and you lose them during this wrap process, because you lose all the skin features and so on and so on, because it's like a little bit smooth, and it's pretty like understandable because it has like fixed number of polygons and so on. And FaceBuilder, we understood that FaceBuilder is just like perfect instrument for preparing meshes, just based on several photos. Especially, it's useful when you can't take a 3D scan, which is pretty like common case if you, for example, want to make some sportsman or somebody like this, like some celebrity or something like this. Okay, yeah, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Roman. Of course, when I first saw the mesh to MetaHuman, I thought that it is really fabulous tool, and I believe that they did a great work. Actually, they wrapped in a, I think, in almost automatical manner. They wrapped the whole mesh to their topology, and it's really hard. It's hard task, and they have really great result. And actually, I've already set up the mesh to MetaHuman with our mesh, and yeah, and what have I done? I just set up this mesh to MetaHuman plugin. It's pretty straightforward. We just need to click on unlit view mode and change focus selected, just field of view, to, for example, 20. And after that, we just click to plus button and create the keyframe. Basically, I start from the front view, of course, and I can choose auto tracking on mode, and mesh to MetaHuman detect all of the landmarks in our face. Actually, there are more of landmarks here, but this is the most important landmarks, and we can use it to wrap this mesh to MetaHuman topology. Just click to MetaHuman identity solve, and I've already done it. First one. Okay, Roman.
Actually, there is a like comment from chat, which is very valid, I'd say, that KeenTools should make a plugin for use inside MetaHuman, so you are not doing work twice. So it's partially valid. I'd say that definitely that it's not a good thing that we have to set up all the landmarks. We actually can do it much better in terms of, like, for instance, we can provide the head writing topology of MetaHuman. And in that case, you actually don't need all the process of the wrapping and setting up landmarks and so on, because we already know how, like, our topology matches to MetaHuman topology. Even if it's the same topology, then even better, like no wrapping at all. And it's basically the plan. So we are like actively thinking about how to do it, because like we need to integrate somehow with mesh to MetaHuman plugin itself or with MetaHuman Creator. So it's like a thing for investigation. But the other part of the story that we have to do it right in Unreal Engine, and I'm not sure about it. And if you think that it's worth it, please write us in comments as well, because I'm not sure. Like, Blender is a free platform which is available for everybody, and like, for instance, like, Manuel, have you any problem with Blender or trying to do it in Blender and just clicking export?
No, honestly, I didn't have any problems, any troubles with Blender. One of the things I would say, though, is I think in general people would love it if there wasn't a plugin that they would go directly into Unreal. And here's the reason why. Recently, I've been working a lot with like people from the film industry, and they are not VFX artists, they are not 3D artists. So when you bring in, like they've already worked in Unreal, but when you bring in Blender, they might get lost, which is good because then they need somebody like me. But usually, what people like that want is something that they can just fire up inside Unreal, like Mesh to MetaHuman. Maybe they need like a separate plugin, but if it is inside Unreal, it's it's probably less intimidating for them to pick up. In that case, just because they are not into like the 3D art portion. I'm talking about like maybe someone who's into ArcViz or just using this for um, cinematic purposes to kind of like do previews and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, sounds pretty valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are thinking about it. It's just like quite a lot of effort.
Excellent. Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay, guys. Actually, I've already done all of the work inside the Mesh to MetaHuman plugin. I've already sent the result to MetaHuman Creator, and I can briefly talk about this process. Firstly, I added all of these keyframes, and I've seen that I have some problems with ear, and after that I add another keyframe where I just match keyframes on the ear to this mesh, and I clicked MetaHuman identity solve again, and I have this result. We can compare it just using view mode, lightning only here and lightning only on source mesh, and we can see that actually we have pretty similar meshes here.
Mm-hmm.
A mesh is FaceBuilder mesh, and B is MetaHuman mesh in their topology. So only we have a little bit problems with ears, but I don't think that it's a significant problem. So probably we can stop here. A little problems with Sculpt too, but the whole point is that we have really good wrap of our mesh that corresponds almost perfectly to the source mesh. And after that I clicked to Mesh to MetaHuman button, and it sent it to the MetaHuman Creator. And I can open it, and my MetaHuman is already MetaHuman Creator. Yeah, it's here. Click edit, select it and stop it, and now we can see that, for example, the shape of our neck changed. Yeah, you can notice it that, for example, the length of our neck was changed, and I think some details on our nose was changed too. Yeah, it's a little bit different shape here, but it's because of merging the head from this wrap with body, and of course people who developed the MetaHuman, they thought about using scans where you can have a lot of artifacts, a lot of problems with mesh, so they add a lot of smoothing to their solution, and of course it changed our mesh a little bit, but
I think
yeah.
one of the most like important thing that they have to connect somehow neck to the body,
Yeah.
and that's why they have to change neck because probably they can't change the body. And that's why it actually changed the form of neck quite significantly. And not only neck, but also head and so on. So this process, like, hopefully gonna be improved in future. But yeah, nowadays it looks like destructive, or in this particular moment. So we got like much better result when we were even in mesh to MetaHuman, but in that moment, everything changed quite a lot.
Yeah, and you can also go into the custom mesh part and do further adjusting if you needed to.
Yeah, it's true, but actually we can't change a lot there. So
Yeah, it's limiting.
yeah, it's limiting. So if we want exactly the same neck, for example, from our character, or shape of the scalp, it's we can't get it from this part of MetaHuman, unfortunately. But I think that they will release something in the future connected to it. Why not? Because it would be really good feature. Yeah. So for now we can add skin color to our character, and I can notice that all of the color here a little bit reddish. Of course, we have different lighting conditions in scene of in MetaHuman scene, and in scene where we captured our photos. So probably we can't find proper skin color, but I think something like this would be okay in this case. And after that we should go to the eyes. Yeah, I think it's kind of good eyes for our character. Probably we should increase the size of iris and change a little bit the texture of our eyes. And another thing that I noticed, that the default color, the default tint of sclera is too yellow, I think. So
Yes.
yeah, I think we always should change it
Yeah.
to color like this. Probably clarity is too high. Yeah, I think it's good enough. And yeah, I think we should change color of tooth here too. Makeup. I don't think that we need.
It's actually a pose from my nightmares. Really, every
Yeah,
time I see it.
it's true.
Yeah.
And now we can find haircut. I don't think that we have the same haircut, but probably this this is this is the most similar one.
Yeah.
I think like.
I think another thing that you
like
could do
this.
in the skin portion is you can actually desaturate the color.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably like if you go more to like downwards and to the left, it would probably desaturate the color a little bit more.
And
over in the color tab.
on the color tab we can.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, just click on the color box.
Sorry, 1 second. I lost my. Okay,
Yeah.
on the color here.
Yeah, the skin and the color box.
Skin color box. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go more towards the lower left corner, it would desaturate the skin. It would make it a little bit more pale. and then you can change the lips. In the accents, you can also desaturate them so they're not super red.
Like we can choose another texture.
Yeah, you
mean,
could
yeah?
also change the texture. Yeah.
Yeah, probably something like this will be better. Yeah, something like this will be better. Yeah, thank you. Good.
You
Good
can also
advice.
distrate lips a little bit.
On the accents.
On the accents. But actually, I think if we okay, I think it will be okay if we desaturate it here a little bit, probably a little more redness, and desaturate it.
Yeah. It is also, like you said
Something
in the
like
beginning,
this.
it's different lighting conditions.
Yeah, it's all about lighting conditions, I believe. But I think it's okay. We will correct it later when we will use our texture. Okay, I think it's good enough. Probably we should change brows a little bit. I don't know. What do you think about it? Yeah, I think we don't have proper
It's probably don't have that kind of eyebrows.
that kind of eyebrows, but yeah, it's good enough, I think. And eyelashes, yes, something like this, I think. Probably a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
It's getting a lot closer.
Something like this. What do you think? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I think it's a lot closer now.
Okay, so we can just change some. Something like this, suit up a little bit our person. Okay, it would be pretty classic style, but I think it's good character, but still I don't think that it looks like a person on our picture. But I believe that the main problem is the texture, right? So we can move on, and when our person is ready, we should download it from to Unreal Engine, and it could take a lot of time. So I've already prepared the character, and we can go to this character. I think I had similar result, actually. Probably a little bit different in terms of skin color, but still I think we can skip it. It's because of problem with my computer before.
There it is.
So for now, actually I've already have these pictures, unfortunately, but I think I should change it to show you the results with MetaHuman texture. So yeah, re-import it. So we have our character in Unreal Engine. It's pretty good. I think it's we have some similarity with our real person, of course, and now we should try to improve our texture.
Yes.
To do it, we can use texture from MetaHuman, we can click to Asset Actions, export, and save it somewhere. I've already did it. I've already done it. So for now, I want to move on and open Adobe Photoshop, where I've already.
While it's opening,
Yep.
we have a comment from the chat, which is I like truly appreciate, because it's like it means that the author has really good eye. He said that human in the face in MetaHuman is a little wider than FaceBuilder,
Right.
and eyes look bigger in originals, and it's like pretty fair. I'd say that it's really like this because again, MetaHuman, every time when you export it from MetaHuman to MetaHuman Creator, it makes your neck a little bit wider, and a face as well, like in the bottom part of the face. Like it's like just what we have right now. We can try to fix it like somehow inside MetaHuman Creator, but it's pretty hard to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's yeah, so more or less it's something that hopefully going to be fixed in future. And yeah, eyes also could be changed a little bit, but it also depends on texture. So let's go to this part.
Yeah, let's go to the texture part. And first of all, I've already have the textures that we need. This is FaceBuilder texture. We have a lot of problems with it. We have a hair that we don't want to see in our texture, and some holes here and here, but we can fix it using MetaHuman texture, because it's like the general texture of whole face without any hair, and we can use it. And to do it, firstly, I suggest you to improve a little bit your texture from FaceBuilder. You can use shadows and highlights filter from Photoshop, and it could actually eliminate shadows on our face. I think it looks pretty well because it's kind of more homogeneous texture right now, without a lot of highlights here in these regions, and we can use it as well. So I hardly recommend to do it before you start. But next thing to do is to try to extract the high frequency details from our face and extract the color information about our face. So we can we want to distinguish the details like these blobs and spots from this face from the color information about this face. And we can do it. It's not a big task. Well, I just clone these layers, and I should apply Gaussian blur here. So I applied Gaussian blur, and it actually removes all of the small details, all of the high frequency details from our texture. The more radius we use, the more details we remove from our texture, and now we can't see all of these details. And the next thing to do is just subtract from our original image this blurred image, and that's all. So we just apply image, choose here the right option. It's I believe bake text copy, and we should use blending mode that calls subtract. And actually we have these two options, scale and offset. We should use 2 in scale and 128 in offset, and that's why, because if we use it, we have in layers blending modes, and if we choose linear light mode, it's actually the opposite of subtraction with this scale and this offset, and we just applied this high frequency details to low frequency details. So for now we have this layer with all of the details, and we can name it like this, details, and we have a layer without details, so it's like color, mostly color information about our texture. And for now we can use these details to move it to MetaHuman texture. So if I apply this one to MetaHuman texture, we can see all of the details from our original FaceBuilder texture just on top of the MetaHuman texture. Yeah, right? You can see it. And we preserve the color information about our MetaHuman texture. So, of course, we don't want to see all of these details. We don't want hair, for example. And I've already prepared mask to remove it. I can click Alt and drag it to my face. And for now, I applied this mask to my face, and I can see only details in this region, in the face region. But another thing to do, we should remove the details from MetaHuman texture. So you can see this areas in this texture, and we don't want to keep it on our result. So we just need to select similar region to our mask, and we just blur it, apply Gaussian blur to this part of the texture, and that's all. Actually, we have our texture with all of the details from the FaceBuilder texture. But of course, we need to match color information too, somehow. And to do it, we should select areas with colors on our face. I've already had this mask here. So if I apply it here, we just keep the area with our texture and with texture on lips, because we want to preserve this color information too. And where we have this one, we need to blur it to have only low frequency details, so the information about our color, and we can apply our mask, and we have this layer. And now we can use adjustments, much color. We should use proper layer. I believe it FB head baked texture. Yeah, right. And when we apply this one, we can transfer the color information from our image to the texture of MetaHuman. And for now we have, yeah, I think we have something like similar color. We just averaged it, Photoshop of course averaged it in these regions, but it's really well right now, and we can apply the high frequency details here, and here we go. We have, I think, pretty decent texture of our head with all of the details from the photo, with these spots, with wrinkles and freckles. So yeah, everything looks alright.
It's also like important to say that we here like baked some lighting conditions.
Yeah,
But you can now, like, at least have a control over it. Like when you do this match color, you can decide how much you want to bake inside the MetaHuman texture.
yeah,
So,
of course.
yeah, that's like.
Of course.
This is very interesting because some of the steps that you took here, I had no idea. I'm not the greatest at Photoshop, so I think it's
Actually,
awesome that you're showing us this workflow.
Yeah, it's like very important part. It's pretty like for those who do beauty setup on everyday basis, then they know how to do it. But yeah, it's like pretty important to show all the steps here. Anthony?
Yeah, for now we have this texture, and the last step to do is to apply so-called stress maps from MetaHuman textures. We have particular texture for particular facial expression. So like this. Of course, this is my favorite one. And yeah, we need to preserve it. And it's not a hard task, to be honest. We just need. I think I've already. I think I've already changed the neutral one. Yeah, of course I already changed it, but now I loaded it. So I have neutral one, face color main, and I have this these textures, and only one thing to do is apply image one more time, and choose here face color main, and that's all. We just subtract from our stress map the default map, and we can have difference here like this, right? And we can do it for all of the textures. I've already had the result, and I can just apply this result to our brand new texture. I should click here. Okay, we have I believe that I didn't, yeah, okay, I didn't hide some level, some layer. Okay, well, we already have this brand new texture, and we can apply the stress maps with linear light blending option to our texture, and actually we have this result. Stress maps with our new texture. So it's kind of export, quick export, and it's face color CM3, face color
Without underscore, I think.
yeah, I think it's okay. And my favorite one, of course, fine export, face color CM2, save it, and face color CM1. Okay, here we go. We have all of the textures here in our results, and now we can add it to our character. We can apply it here. MetaHuman results. I believe whoa, where this window? Where is this window? I think it. Yeah, I think what it is the window. I can add it. Or no. Kira.
I will have a comment from Valex that he hopes that in future these different maps can be like a high frequency one and merge it in Unreal Engine automatically. Now it's too much manual work. And I absolutely agree with you, but it's too much manual work. It's actually not like too much because we actually like showing everything now in details, and actually if not showing, it's much faster. But what we are actually thinking about, like preparing this PSD file, or probably like individual layers,
Yeah.
in order that like you can have like high frequency file, all the stress maps, and you'll need like just draw a mask and that's it.
Yeah,
So
that'll be
because
very
masks
useful.
masks are very different and they based on like particular character. But if it's possible to like prepare everything except it would be like much simpler for everybody.
Yes, and I can agree with it. We can do it, of course. And for now, I've already applied all of the textures with stress maps to our character. And yeah, and now we have Kira here with all of the details from actual texture. I think we can compare it to the reference photos. For example, this photo.
Let's take 3/4.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Something like this. And 3/4 here. So actually, I think that we have all of the details on the cheek. You can mention it. You can notice it, and of course we have details from the lips as well, and even I think even the details from around the eyes was preserved. So yeah, I think it's
One of the main problem
really good.
in likeness nowadays, I'd say, eyebrows and hair. And
Yeah.
hairstyle is completely different. Eyebrows also completely different, and it's like
Yeah, but
it affects like quite a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
even so, like one of the things that I do like about this process is it may not be one-to-one, but I would say this looks more realistic than the one we got before just because we added the new textures.
Yeah, it's definitely more realistic than like general
Mm-hmm.
wash texture. It's like much more similar. It's like still still far from the real person, but yeah, it's basically like probably what we currently have in MetaHuman.
And I had a question. Sorry, I didn't mention it before because I was listening to the process because that process was new to me and I really want to kind of like learn it. But do you guys have like a roadmap of things that you're planning to add to KeenTools in the coming future?
Well, of course, we have some internal roadmap, but unfortunately, no public roadmap at the moment, because to be honest, it's like heavily depends on like quite a lot of aspects of fastly changing technology world. I mean, like, for example, if something gonna be changed, a good example here, like we decided to add this feature with MetaHuman integration, like before 1 month before the last release. It wasn't in plan at all.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just because Mesh to MetaHuman plugin created.
Yeah.
So it's all changed quite rapidly. So that's why usually we do not publish any public roadmaps, but at the same
That's fair.
time, we are actively discussing what to do with our community and it's basically what we're doing right now. We have also some comments from the chat, and how can other maps be generated, like height map? It's most likely about depth map.
Yeah.
And
I'd say the normal
I think
map would
also
be
about
interesting to be generated.
normal map. Yeah. Well, currently there is no way. Like you have to do it like manually. Probably in future, we'll find some like a way to extract normal map from photos, but it will definitely need quite a lot of research because it's like not an easy, right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I can imagine.
Anthony?
Yes, I think we've done here. So we have this result, and I believe that this this process is one of the most straightforward and short way to get MetaHuman with high level of likeness, of course with some issues, but still I've already tested it on a lot of on a lot of people, and yeah, I think it's quite handy this way, and I
Yeah.
can get good results in short time.
Well, we have, by the way, a question from chat. Is real-life face tracking available? Do you think that data could be used to train algorithms to more accurately replicate facial expressions in androids? Would you collab with robotic companies? Well, quite a lot of different questions. So first of all, is real-time face tracking available? Not in like. First of all, there is a how it's called lifelink face from Epics. They actually provide you a way to get expressions from your iPhone and use it right in Unreal Engine, as far as I understand. And or you can record it and use it offline, but more or less like this. So it's real time, and it like works pretty good. So for especially for the cost of the setup, there are also quite a lot of different other real time face tracking solutions, but well, they are way more expensive. There's also like offline tracking solutions. For instance, Face Track. You can use Face Tracker. You can like shoot a video, then track it with Face Tracker, which we actually provide, and then you can export the result as a sequence of either meshes or sequence of coefficients in format of lifelink face, and upload them to your scene, which actually will produce more accurate result when you have full control of like using it. And yeah, do you know, guys, any other real-time face tracking approaches?
No, not really.
Okay, so the next question: do you think the data could be used to train algorithms to more accurately replicate facial expressions in androids? Well, I don't like actually know anything about androids. Expression in androids. Okay, I got it. So yeah, basically we use quite a lot of data for improving our internal algorithms for facial tracking, and usually it's like 4D solutions, like tracking, 4D scanning, like 3D scanning in time, and it gives you ability like to understand how face deforms. And yeah, that's basically the way how it works internally. And the last question: would you collab with robotics companies? Of course, we would like to collab with robotic companies if it would be interesting for both parties. But currently, there's no such plans at the moment. And yeah, Valek said that he saw a tool that extracts different maps from just one picture, and if you like can point us to it, it would be very helpful. And also Morten said that there must be some AI solution for this, but I'm not sure. Like for everything, there might be a good AI solution in the future, definitely. Also, Alex asking, I get back to my question: what we do with strange faces, like the fat people faces, where the head is quite deformed? And as for FaceBuilder stack, it works great with fat faces as well. Probably not like extremely fat, but yeah, rather fat, like and we tested it on these faces. This new release brings the new deformation model that supports all of them. So it will work with them, but then it like comes to MetaHumans, and MetaHumans currently like first of all they have a tendency, like they tend to make all the faces a little bit wider
Yes.
and fatter, a little bit, but also like well, in MetaHuman now you have like 3 different bodies, and that's it. So it's definitely not enough for creating such characters and so on, and that also could be a problem. So, but hopefully, MetaHuman will evolve in future. It will have support for all extreme deformations.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Shader map 4. I don't know what is shader map 4, but I'll take a look at it. So, yeah, Manuel and all our viewers, now it's time to your questions. If you were waiting for that, like till the end, then now it's time, because we are actually like done with our main program.
Okay. But I guess in my case, we addressed most of the things that I had. I had a lot of questions when it came to Photoshop, but I think Anton's showcase was very thorough with some of the things that I realized that I needed to do to get the texture actually working a lot better.
It's great to hear.
Yeah,
thank you.
Actually, approach that Anthony shows was like pretty one of the most classic and straightforward, I'd say. And there are like some more additional hacks that could be done, but they are like much more sophisticated. So, folks, if we have no more questions, then like I'd like to say a huge thank you to our guest, Manuel.
Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, because like actually, like first of all, thank you very much for like your enthusiasm and creating the tutorial about all this stuff. And also, like, thank you very much for coming here today and asking really great questions. And of course, thank you everybody for looking our streams and asking awesome questions. And please subscribe to our email. Could you please like show the next how it's called slide, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 2 links. One goes to Discord channel, and one is to like email blast that you can subscribe to get the notification about like new streams, about new releases or some new educational stuff and so on. And of course, thank you, Anthony, for the wonderful presentation today. So, guys,
thank you, guys.
Bye. See you. See you all.
See you. It was a pleasure to meet you.
See you.
Pleasure.